Hello, everybody, and welcome to our team Zoom. My name is Harlequin Murray, and I am your co-host this evening, along with our primary speaker, Miss Ellen Winn. And I get the honor and pleasure of welcoming all of the new people who are here for the first time tonight. We're glad you joined us. And I know we might have some people from other teams as well. So we always welcome you to join us as well on these Zooms. But anyways, I get to introduce Ellen to everybody. And for those of you who have not been on our Zoom before, just a little bit about her background. She is our senior team leader. She is a longtime resident of the Metro Atlanta area. She grew up on a farm in Dallas, Georgia, where she currently resides. And she ended up, she ended up going into the restaurant industry whenever she got out of school and was very successful in that. She ended up being a regional manager and training director for Domino's Pizza. And about 20 years ago or so, she went and decided to bite the bullet and become her own boss. And she opened up her own pizza restaurant and actually had 2 different locations. And with that, she's never worked for anybody else ever since then. But in about 15, 20 years ago, she was introduced to network marketing and has been a member of different companies through that. I actually met her when she was my upline in another company. And she was the national training director for that company. And she has gone and trained a ton of people in network marketing. She ran a training center here in Atlanta when I first met her, but she is a avid business owner. She currently owns another company as well as DAC, and she is one of our top ranking agents out in the field. She's an area director as well as a 1-star. But without further ado, Miss Ellen Winn, can you take it away?
Again, just 1 second. I'm making those changes on that web link just in case.
Yeah, because I was getting text messages from people. That's why I got discombobulated.
Yeah, I've changed it back over temporarily, but I'm going to move it back over to my Facebook page after tonight. Let me get off. Get me back over. And there we go. All right. All right. Thanks, Harlequin. Appreciate that. And appreciate you guys for being here on a Monday night. I know there are many places that you could be besides on a Zoom, and I appreciate that. That shows your commitment to your business. Leveling up my camera here a little bit. Shows your commitment to your business. And guys, I can't tell you enough, I'm gonna mute my phone as well, how important it is that you be plugged in to DAC right now. If you ever wanted to have a successful home-based business, now is the time to really get serious about DAC. If you've been listening over the past couple of weeks, David has been talking about new things coming here by the end of January 2023. He talked today in detail about some new technology, new back office systems, things that are really going to help each of us grow our business and give better customer service than we have access to today, because it'll improve our communication process on where our clients stand. We'll be able to see things that are in our team that we can't currently see right now. And I'm just super excited. So now's the time to be building a business. Now's the time to be recruiting agents. And now's the time to get serious about finishing out 2022 strong and getting ready for a great start to 2023. So once again, my camera, I don't think is quite level yet. There we go. All right. let me get us in screen share mode as I usually do on our Monday Zooms and get us kicked off with team recognition. So let me see if I get the right screen up here. Should have the DAC to the rescue on screen. Harlequin, I can see you. Does that look good? Awesome. Thank you. And move that out of the way. So here we have the superhero beneath our jacket or shirt or whatever. I love that. That came from our Super Saturday workbook. And it's really true. Each of us have a superhero inside of us where we can go out and really save our business community if we do a good job of sharing the services and programs that we have available for them. But many of you don't realize that you have that superhero right beneath your day-to-day attire, right? So I want to bring that out of you and let you help you understand what you really have at your fingertips here. But first, I want to go through and recognize those of you that have been recruiting and are building a team. And our top recruiters for the week of 12/5 through 12/11 listed as follows. In first place, we had Eric Johnson with 9 new agent recruits. Congratulations, Eric. Way to go. In second place, I came in with 6 new agent recruits for the week. In third place, we had Latoya Porter with 4 new agent recruits for the week. In fourth place, we had Sulithia Burwell with 3, tied in fourth place with Jebecca Jones with 3 new agent recruits. So congratulations to you two. In fifth place, we had a 5-way tie with Nicholas Cranstown, LaTerrence Dunbar, Richard Giraldez, Chance Jackson, and Katina Willis, each with 2 new agent recruits apiece. You had to have at least 2 new agents to get listed by name on the leaderboard, but all in all, we had 28 people last week who had at least 1 new recruit with a total of 53 new agents for the week. So those numbers are down from the previous week, which I look at that and I'm going, okay, are people taking time off for the holidays? Are they getting distracted? Or do you just not believe what David is telling you and what I keep telling you week after week about how you really need to be in recruiting mode and building and getting prepared for what is about to happen? Don't be one of those that is waiting to see what happens and then are going, oh, this is incredible. You want to be building up to it right now. And you'll understand why when that new back office launches. And I'm telling you, it may be closer than we think, and it's going to be an amazing enhancement to what we already have. DAC, we're still going to have everything that we have, but we're going to be adding more services. And again, that new back office technology is going to just not quadruple, it'll be tenfold the ability to manage our business as to what we have right now. Because those of you that have been here for a while, you know, our only back office has been Longevity back office, which they are a nutrition company. And that back office was really built for consumer products, right? So all along for a long time now, David has been talking about making enhancements to the back office. And finally, they have what they're looking for to be able to make that enhancement so that those of us on the service side with the DAC services are going to have a software that reports and shows us what our business looks like to what little and limited viewing we have ability with our Longevity back office as it stands right now. So really exciting stuff coming along. So just be a believer and take advantage of the recruiting incentive that is here through the end of this year. David announced this for those of you that may be outside of your auto-engaged window. What is auto-engaged? Well, to be engaged, there are 5 ways to be there. 1, you're brand new. You're in your first 60 days in the company, or you have a new funded client, and that can be of any value. It can be a giggle client. It can be a new line of credit, any of those things. That is counts as engaged. You can hit the rank of area director and you're considered engaged. You can have a renewal client, you're considered engaged. David just added that once you have a signed ERC deal, one that's been signed by the client and is ready to send off to the IRS. That counts as engaged status. And I think that was it. First 60 days, a new funded deal, a renewal, a new funded deal of any sort, and a new ERC. Okay. So that's what engaged is. To be engaged means now you're eligible to earn on your team. If you have enrolled agents, you have to be engaged to earn that enroller matching bonus, or there are extra bonuses that you can earn on your own personal fundings as well. But you have to have that engaged status, meaning you've had a client in the past 60 days traditionally. So this auto engaged incentive is huge, gives you the opportunity to get paid as if you're engaged, whether you are or not, whether you've had a client or not, whether you're outside your 60 days or not. You'll get paid your enroller bonus of a 25% match minimum on their first 2 funded deals. So I would take advantage of the next 2.5 weeks that we have left in this month through this promotion and just be promoting and getting as many new people started in our business as possible. Guys, it's a free business. How hard is it to get somebody started in a business where they don't have to come out of pocket with any money? They don't really have to make any financial commitment whatsoever. We're going to provide them the training and everything that they need to be successful for free. It's not hard. The hardest part is you having the courage to start promoting and talking to people about this amazing opportunity. The next promotion, and this is really big. Again, this is a time-sensitive promotion. This ends it started on November the 21st and ends on December the 22nd. So we've got to have funded deals that close by December the 22nd to be eligible for this. This says as much as $20,000, but David has given an explanation where you could earn $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 extra. You're just earning an extra 1, 2, 3, or 4% on top of whatever your pay rate is on the regular commission. So take advantage of that. If you don't understand it, go watch in the DAC YouTube channel. David did a video on this, and I've covered it 3 weeks ago on our team Zooms. I went through it in detail as well. So the information is there if you are interested in trying to earn that extra bonus. All right. One last thing before we go in here, I see people still coming into the room. And Harlequin, if you'll remind me to say this again as we end up tonight. I've changed the link, and I changed it a while back. I've been including it in the link that I send out via text message as a reminder, and I've changed it in the email that I send out. But a lot of you knew this by heart and have been going to ellenwinn.link. I have redirected ellenwinn.link, just going over to my entrepreneur page on my Facebook group, and I'm using subdomains on the ellenwinn.link domain name. I'm creating subdomains so that I can redirect. And you know how people have Linktree, right? That Linktree gives people the ability to go in and create all these different links tied back to their name. Well, that's where I got the idea of using ellenwinn.link. I created my own Linktree with my name.link, and now I can I have my Zoom, which is zoom.ellenwinn.link. So don't use just ellenwinn.link to get on these Zooms anymore. You want to use the subdomain zoom.ellenwinn.link, and that'll bring you over to my Zoom channel, which I'm on right now. So I've created that, and I can create an unlimited number of subdomains. So if I wanted to do real estate, I could do realestate.ellenwinn.link and have it going over to a real estate page, which I don't have, but I could, right? So that gives me unlimited number of domains without having to be tied into the Linktree network. Okay, so what I want to cover tonight is, and I temporarily changed that link tonight. So if you're coming in on ellenwinn.link, I went in and changed it after Harlequin brought that to my attention, that some people were using that link and weren't aware that I had changed it. Okay, let me mute my phone. I thought I'd already done that. Sorry about that. There we go. All right, so what I want to talk about tonight, several things. One, if you had a rank advancement and I missed it, I apologize. I'm looking at the fundings that we had several renewals, but that didn't count as a qualifying client that would take someone over to a rank advancement. So if I missed that, please let me know, and I'll make sure that you get spotlighted on that We can do the testimonial tonight, or we can do a spotlight for you next week. We had a gentleman today get a $50,500 renewal, and Harlan, I went back and counted Donnie's renewals, and this is the 12th renewal on that one client, if I'm counting correctly. Did you look at that? 12 renewals. And it's not like he's getting them all the time. This is a client that he first got like 3 years ago, and it's been several months since he got his last renewal, but he got a $50,500 renewal. And I can see the numbers keep going up. So it looks like he's taking the money that he's getting through his DAC fundings and is really growing his business over time. So that's exciting. This agent that got this renewal today probably didn't even talk to the client, because we have an internal renewal team that reaches out to the clients on our behalf. Once we bring them into DAC and get them funded for the first time, we have systems in place to help that. So this particular agent, the first commission that he earned, he had to earn it by having the conversation with the client. The other 11 commissions that he's earned on the renewals, he probably never even talked to the client about it. So I love DAC and the way we get paid on our fundings. But what I want to talk to you tonight about is
can I say something about that?
Yeah, sure.
That was actually the first ever funding on my team.
Was
that
it?
Initial funding? So yeah. So, and I keep getting those the enroller bonuses on those. So very nice. It's actually he's a CPA, and that's one of his clients. So he may have had discussions with them more than the average person would, but yeah. So anyways, thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep getting those override commissions on that. So he, as the enrolling agent, is getting the client, the direct pay as the agent. Harlequin enrolled him, so she gets the enroller, and I get a team override because he and Harlequin are part of my organization. So lots of money gets paid out through the compensation plan through funding. But again, what I want to talk to you tonight about partially is the ERC process, right? I've had several agents email me with their first ERC submission. They're excited, and I'm excited to see those coming in too. But I want to make sure that you understand that just because you get an ERC submission started doesn't mean they're fully in the process. Okay. I've done a screenshot here of one of my funding submissions that got started back in October when I first started talking about this. This was actually the first one that I had submitted. Okay. But what I want to talk to you about is knowing that just because you get that email doesn't mean it's completed. You've got to pick up the phone and call the client. Okay. At this point, it says, based on their answers, we advance application for completion with our partner CPAs. 2 of my clients that I received this email on, I reached out to them and called them. And here's what my conversation is with everybody. Once I get this new email or new submission started email, I reach out to them and say, hey, this is Ellen. I see that you have started the ERC submission process with our team. I just wanted to touch base and make sure that you've made it all the way over to the portal to talk to our CPA so they can answer any of your questions, right? I see you got it started. If you're not writing this down, you need to be taking notes. I see you've started the process. I want to make sure that you've made it over to the portal to start the conversation with the CPAs to get your questions answered and to be able to upload your documents, because that's part of the process, right? And 2 of the ERC emails that I received when I made that phone call to the client, they said, oh, actually, I didn't qualify. Okay. So on their end, they had answered no to all of the pre-qualifying questions, and the screen popped up and said, sorry, you don't qualify, yet I received this email. Now, I talked with someone the other day, and I said I needed to address this with corporate. I don't know if it's been corrected or not. I'm just thinking about that conversation tonight after I got a couple of emails today. So I'll follow up with this and make sure that it has been corrected. But I would be, if it were you or I were you, I would be following up with that client to make sure that they're making it through. So those two clients that I talked to that I thought they had started and been in the approval process, they both said I didn't qualify. So I'm going, oh, well, that's interesting. I said, let me ask you a couple questions. And I went down those pre-qualifier questions. Let me go over here to our homepage on davidallencapital.com on the tax credit page. I just went back through and I said, well, let me verify a couple of things and make sure that they sent you the right answer when you finish that application. I said, you did have W-2 employees in 2020 or 2021, right? Verified that because that's the number one qualifier here, right? And then I go to number one. I say, well, did you have a reduction in revenue in 2020 or 2021? Now, this is on a quarterly basis, not by year, right? So it talks about quarters. So did you have a reduction in revenue in any single quarter, at least one quarter in 2020 or 2021? No, we made more money than we did the previous year. I think that's why we were disqualified. Say, wait a minute, there's more qualifiers here. And then I go through was your business impacted by government mandates, right? Like, were you required to fully or partially suspend operations that were tied to governmental orders? Or did you have the inability to obtain critical goods or materials from suppliers because they were required to suspend operations due to governmental orders? Did you have to limit occupancy to provide for social distancing because of government orders? Or did you have the sheltering in place preventing your employees from coming to work, or other similar impacts from government mandates, right? So if they say they didn't qualify, you need to personally go through these qualifiers over the phone with them and make sure they didn't misread the application. Because had I not contacted those two clients of mine, they would have turned away and not gone through the process, missed out on money, and I would have thought that I had someone that was in process, right? So that's the way you really want to be a pro at handling this. And of course, the third qualifier, and this is directly off of your David Allen Capital website, tax credits. The third qualifier is, did you start a new business after February 15th, 2020? Okay. So you really need to do that. And also, while I'm here, I want to point out a couple of things on the ERC to really help you through that process. And that is, we're here on the homepage. This is available from any page on davidallencapital.com. But if you scroll down to the footer page, it takes you over to our resource center. Once you get to the agent resource center, it's all been updated. We've got a new resource center. Everything's been reorganized. Under getting started, this is now where you find the big green 1, 2, 3. For those of you that haven't actually visited that, but you're building a team, you can start it from up here, the drop-down tab, or there in the middle of the page as I was on the homepage. But here's your 1, 2, 3 videos. Here's your employee retention credit information. And this is just your basic getting started page for brand new agents, right? How to go in and set up your Relevate account and our agent support contact, and then our pages where you go in, you access the Zoom call, YouTube, Vimeo, and the Facebook group. But what we're talking about tonight is employee retention credit. So let's go up here to employee retention credit tab, and that opens up a section that is entirely devoted to the employee retention credit. Okay, here's the video when we first launched it, where we're hearing from Jeremy at ERC Pros. He's talking about the program, how it works, and the whole process that your client goes through. These slides, if you hit this pop out corner of that document, it's going to open up into full page slides. And when it does that, you can just scroll through. This has been updated. Notice says updated 12/5. Here we changed the flow of the website sequence. So what is on the video and the sequence that Jeremy goes through is not 100% the same as it is on these slides. These have been updated, so you want to reference these slides as far as the sequence that your client goes through, but that's the only thing that's different is the web sequence. Everything else that Jeremy covers is 100% accurate about the qualifications and all the Q&A that he does there. We just changed the flow of the website to make it easier for your clients to get on through and not hit that roadblock. They were hitting a roadblock when they would get to the questions that said, wait, before you go any further, you're going to need these documents. We found that people were getting there and stopping. So let's go down to this. Once they've received this page, they may go through. This is where you're going to get that email that says the application has been started, right? Because they've submitted, they started here, they filled in their information and they click submit, and then they answered these 4 questions. All right. Then they get to this page. If the client doesn't go beyond this page, they're not connected with ERC pros and they're sitting in limbo. They're just sitting there. They started the process, but they're not in conversation with the ERC team. So when you make that phone call to every single one of your applications started, you need to make sure that they go on and click continue qualifying, which takes them over here to fill out the questionnaire, a little bit more about their business. And once they submit the ERC order there, that puts them in the ERC Pro portal. Now the ERC team is emailing them with a link to set up their client portal, which is Canopy, but it's considered a client portal. They'll email that, and along with that, they'll give them a list of documents that they need to gather and upload into that secure portal, right? Then when they're in the client portal, see this little chat window, they'll be able to click on chat and they'll be able to ask questions directly through the website, or they'll get an email back from their client support specialist that they'll be working with through the entire process. The same person, they'll get an email from them, an introduction email, and they can send emails back to that client support specialist, or they can call the client support specialist. But many ways there they can communicate with the ERC pros team, but that communication doesn't start until they've completed this page and have submitted that ERC order. So if you want to have the highest success of ERCs getting completed, our big roadblock right now is businesses not submitting all their documents. And that is going to lie on your shoulders to help in the process. Yes, the ERC team is going to help. They're going to follow up with phone calls. They're going to follow up with emails, and they're going to help move the client through the process. But if you don't get them over that bridge from the DAC Bank Breezy page over into the ERC portal, then there's no communication going to take place, and that's up to you. So we're all getting, as independent agents and the referring agent, we're getting the lion's share of the commission, where the ERC team is getting a 20% contingency fee once they split that 20% up that they get back with DAC, and DAC pays out the agent that brought it on board, the overrides and all of the residual aspect of the commission that gets split up. That 4% or 4.2 or 4.4 or 5.2 or up to 6% that gets paid out to the referring agent, that is the largest piece of the pie that any one entity in the mix is going to receive. So make sure you're doing a good job and following up on those and being a pro. All right, I'm going to take us off screen share now. I got a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. And it's back to what David was talking about today. Guys, if you have not heard today's Zoom, actually, if you didn't hear Friday's Zoom with David Rutz talking, you need to go back and listen to it. I sent it out by email yesterday, I think, as kind of a recap from last week. If you didn't listen to Friday's Zoom, you need to listen to it. It was great training. Great training. David is such a good trainer and such a good leader. And Friday's Zoom was one of his best by far. Today, we talked more about the future of DAC and what is coming by the end of January 2023. You guys just aren't going to believe the path we're headed down when he starts releasing these new programs that he's talked about. And he's got more up his sleeve. He just hasn't completed the deal, so he doesn't want to talk about it until it's been signed on the new products that he's been looking at and able to release here. But I'm telling you, 2023 is going to be a stellar year. And I love it today that David said, he spoke out loud, and he said his goal with David Allen Capital is to become the largest service industry promoter in the network marketing space. I believe we can become the largest network marketing company in the world in history. And that's his goal. And that is a massive goal to state. To be able to state that and to make that come into fruition, it's going to take a lot of us agents out here that have that same belief as he does. And for us to be going after it, not just, casually recruiting someone here and there, but I mean, going after it and making David Allen Capital your focus every single day. So I ask you, are you doing that? What is your level of focus and what is your level of commitment to DAC? What is your level of commitment to building this business for yourself and building it for your family, for generations to come? What we have here with the ERC program, just it alone, with your personal clients, I've said before, and I'll keep saying it again and again, if you were to submit one new ERC application per day, that business owner actually qualifies, you pre-qualified them by asking them some questions before you got them to go through your website. You pre-qualify them, you know that they had employees and you know that they're eligible for some money back. If you had one of those a day, submit and follow through with uploading their documents so that they can get a signed deal and have the ERC team send it off to the IRS. One of those a day, 5 days a week over the course of the next 12 months. You would have earned about $1 million in personal commissions. And that's just taking the numbers of having a few employees and having larger numbers of employees and all in the mix. That would pay you personally over $1 million just if you did one a day. Now, let me let you think about that. What if you had 10 agents frontline to you that agreed to submit one a day, 5 days a week over the course of the next 12 months? And that's just Monday through Friday, taking the weekends off, five days a week, 6 days, right? If you had 10 frontline people that did that, how much do you earn off of your personally enrolled agents? Well, if you're engaged, you earn 25%. If you're amped up, you earn 50%. So 10 people that do what you did, and you've got $10 million sitting on your front line. If you're earning 25% of that, then that would mean you could earn $2.5 million off of building a team. If you're engaged, if you're amped up, you could earn 5 million, right? Because you can earn half as much as they earned. So guys, I'm telling you, if you're not recruiting and you're not buying into what we have going with just the ERC program, you're thinking small. Either that, you're thinking small, or you just don't believe. What is belief? Belief is seeing something and believing it is possible before it becomes reality, right? It's like if you are a believer in Christ, we believe that there is heaven after life, right? Or if you are running and running a race, you're believing that you have a chance of finishing, crossing the finish line, right? Whatever it is that you start it for a reason, and you start with the end in mind and what that end result is going to feel like. And I encourage you to think about what earning $1 million over the next 12 months would feel like to you. What would it feel like to your family? And what kind of changes would it make to your family? What kind of changes would you be able to make in your local community? If you love giving back to your community or tithing to your church or whatever organization you give to, what could you do differently if you earned $1 million over the course of next year? Now that's just you. What if all of those business owners that you helped, you did one a day over the course of the next 12 months? That's 52 times 5, 250, 260 businesses that on average are going to get maybe $160,000 to $200,000 back. Harlequin paints the picture beautifully when she says, every 5 to 10 businesses that you help get the ERC money back, that's about $1 million that goes back into your local community. So there's a flood of money here available to go back into your local communities through the business owners themselves and through you and through the other independent agents that you recruit on to help us be the crusaders for this, to be the spreader of good news and letting these business owners know about this tremendous program. 80% of business owners out there today either don't know about this, they've been told they don't qualify by someone who is misinformed, or they just have no clue about it or don't know how to go about it, right? So we have the solution for them. I want to be the one to help as many business owners as possible. I'm going through my local community right now, working from home, doing phone calls for the most part. But when I'm going out and visiting in local stores and local businesses, I'm always asking to talk to the business owner and making sure that they know about this money. I'm leaving a flyer with them right now, the flyers that we edited out of the Agent Resource Center. I've ordered business cards, the new Connect cards. I did the 50/50, the one that has the business funding and the ERC on it. And I got an email today saying my cards have been shipped. So I should get those in the next few days. And I can't wait to get them in hand, to be able to get them in hands of business owners locally. So that's my soapbox for tonight. I'm going to open up for questions. Anybody that has a question, I see we've already got some hands raised. Yes.
Ellen, I want to ask you something, because you're saying you need to get one client a day, 5 days a week for the entire year to get $1 million.
Yeah, just on averages. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I had worked this out.
Okay.
And if the company ERC Pros had said 160,000 was roughly their average. Okay, and you had mentioned 160 to 200. If you're at DAC 4, you get 5.2 percent of that. You only need 125 clients to get $1 million
in personal earnings, right?
in personal. And the way that you're doing it, you're saying that you're going to get 40 per month, or no, 20 per month, excuse me. You only need about 10 a month to get to $1 million.
Yeah, well, I say one a day because not everybody that goes through and fills out and completes the paperwork, right? Not every one of them are going to meet the minimum requirement to actually proceed. Some of them are going to see it, and by the time they get that number back, they've talked to a CPA or somebody else that's saying, oh, we can do this for you. So they're not going to follow through with us. But, and I appreciate that, Harlequin, but I put it on a daily activity goal is more what I have in mind is to take the activity, take the actions necessary and a personal goal of having one a day that actually goes in, that qualifies and completes the process and is going through the upload process. You'll learn far more than $1 million, but that's just a minimum, because typically when people have, well, I need 100 to get there. That 100 is number that's a big target, but if you've got a daily process to get there, you hit that 100 much easier and much faster. So, yep, you're right with those numbers and extrapolating them out. You're exactly right.
Okay. I was like,
one a day.
I was like, wait a minute, that's going to be more like 2.5 million. Yeah. Not that I would complain in any way, shape, or form if I got that much money, but.
Well, I would venture to say this, that you would make having one submission a day as your goal to get started, that you'll be so excited and so on fire that you will find yourself getting several started a day, because you'll see the success. You'll hear the conversations from business owners that don't know about the money. You'll become a believer and going, oh my gosh, people really don't know about this. People really need to know. I've got like gold in my hands, and I need to be the one telling them about these gold nuggets that are available to them that nobody else shared. So your belief level will go through the roof, and so will your commissions. And we can take that and shrink it from a year to 6 months, probably down to just a few months if you get busy with it. But don't be the only one doing it. Start doing things to recruit and bring other people into your agency so that you can leverage your income and get that 25 to 50% match on that. Okay, I see some hands up. I've got Richard Giraldez. Hey, Richard, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
I just had a quick question. Is there, if we have a high-end client that is on the fence on ERC, is there an ERC professional at ERC Pros that we can do like a Zoom meeting with or something like that?
You can, and give me a scenario. What do you mean a high-end client? Someone that has a lot of employees or?
Yeah. I've again worked ERC with a couple other CPA firms, and what I had was clients that in one case had a couple hundred clients, a couple hundred employees, and they were on the fence, and they wanted to speak with one of the professionals at the CPA firm.
Sure. So if they're on the fence, what I would encourage, the easiest way to get them in conversation with someone is to get them submitted, get them to submit, get them to fill out the submit ERC order. And once they've done that, they're going to have their direct contact person there. And then they've got a personal person to talk to. If that person is not who they want to talk to, if they want to talk to a higher level, then fill in the chat box there in the messaging to say, hey, I'd like to speak to a senior team leader here before I move any further with this. And they'll reach out to the client. That would be that's the simplest way to get them in touch. I mean, you can call them, but you're going to get their support line. I would just send that client through. One thing you want to do, Richard, is get them in your system. You want them through the Bank Breezy app sequence so that we have record that that's your client before you send them around to have a conversation with ERC Pros without going through us.
Well, usually what I do is I have an actual Zoom meeting with both the professional and the client. So I'm making the introduction. I'm in that meeting. And that's
right. And that's how the other companies are set up. We're not set up to do that, but
okay.
Jeremy did say in training that they'll certainly make available their time if they need to talk to someone that is on the fence or is not comfortable moving forward without talking to someone. They'll do that.
Okay.
But to get that conversation started, the easiest thing is to fill out the form on your website. All they're doing is they're filling in their company information and answering the questions. One of the questions, yes, so they do qualify. It takes them over to ERC portal. They answer a few basic questions about their business. They submit. Then they get the email with who their support specialist is. And that is someone inside of ERC Pros. If they don't want to move forward, if they're still on the fence after that conversation, let them know, hey, you do not have to move any further along, but this is going to get you in touch with someone inside the company, your direct support person, working with the CPA team, and you can have any conversation that you want to with them.
Okay.
If you feel like you need to do a Zoom, then you're welcome to get that orchestrated. I personally have talked to several clients already doing three-way calls with agents that had questions, or the business owner wasn't sure about the process, and I've talked to them and we've moved them on through. I'm happy to help you with that as well. But if you feel, because of your interaction with another company, if you feel like a different approach is better for that client that's got 200 employees, then just reach out to support@davidallencapital.com, tell them the circumstances, and they'll advise you from there.
Okay.
All right. Good question.
All right.
Hey, and Richard, this reminds me, I know you've got several ERC clients through the other companies that you've been working with. I'm really excited about our payment processing partner that we now have, where we've gone back to working with Sphere. And my personal goal, and I encourage you and everybody listening tonight, those of you that are working ERC, whether you have an ERC client through David Allen Capital or whether you have an ERC client with another company, you're helping them get the money back. You have built a relationship with them. I would go back to all of those ERC clients and say, hey, I'm excited I've got another program that can help put some big money back in your pocket. Are you open to letting us take a look at your payment processing to see how much money we can save you on your credit card processing? Because they're going to be excited to hear from you again. if you help them get money back, right? And
Sure.
truly, our payment processing is going to save them significantly. So David has mentioned that part of the new software and him bringing on some other services, part of the getting engaged and staying engaged process is going to be tied to payment processing. I don't know how many customers that's going to be, but payment processing pays residually. I know Harlequin has an agent on her team, and he makes between 80 and 100 and something dollars a month off of that one client, just on residuals from them running their business as they normally do, using credit cards as they normally do, but they chose to let him sign them up for credit card processing through David Allen Capital and switched off of the provider that they were using previously. Doesn't take too many of those payment processing clients, especially when you're looking at businesses. If they have quite a few employees, chances are they have a sizable operation, which means they have a sizable amount of their revenue being processed through credit cards, and it can turn into a really nice additional income stream for you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Richard.
I wanted to say one last thing.
Yeah,
just,
sure.
as a bit of advice. Definitely make sure that you follow up with clients for documents. One of the first clients that I picked up on gave me a reference, and the reference had 500 employees. And I put this through to the CPA firm. We met with one of the CPAs, and we got them all signed up. And I probably let them have a little too much control on following up. And they were just kind of dialing it in by sending out emails and that sort of thing. And I let it fall through the cracks, and I lost that client with 500 employees. I lost that client.
Oh my goodness.
Which probably cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. Yeah. Now that was with another company. It wasn't
That
through
was
DAC,
with another
right?
company that was having some internal problems, and that was part of what happened. Another CPA firm I no longer work with.
Wow. Well, I hate it. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. And again, that just goes to the fact of what I was saying, to follow through on the documents. Be the one that you've got multiple opportunities here with those business owners. Don't just open that door and leave it off to our internal team. You want to create the relationship, and that is you following through. And, once they get the signed contract deal, you want to follow through and encourage them to take advantage of our Connect Cash program, and make sure that they're seeing the communication from our funding team on that, so that they can get connected on Connect Cash and start referring out other business owners through their referral link. They get compensated, and that becomes a frontline customer to you. So it's a win-win all the way around if you are communicating and building that long-term relationship with your clients. So thank you for sharing that, Richard. I know that was heartbreaking to lose a 500 plus employee group.
You have no idea.
Yeah. No, here we have an agent in DAC. She may be on here tonight. She had a group with about 400 employees through another company, and that 400 person group qualified for $6.82 million in refunds credit.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
6.82 million would have paid her over $250,000 just off of that one account. So yeah, I would just be sick for weeks if I lost that account. So yeah, thanks for sharing. Okay. I have Ray with your hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight, Ray?
Ellen, first of all, before I go into my questions, I want to apologize to you because I had called you. I was the one that had called. I didn't get a notification about if there was a call tonight, and I don't know what happened. So when I went to one of your old emails you sent me, that's how I logged in. But and I work in the morning, so when I went into the back office, I didn't see if there was an evening call, so I didn't know if there was any changes done or not.
Yeah, no worries about calling. I'm the one that needs to mute my phone. But yeah, I said earlier that I've changed the redirect link on my Zoom. Instead of ellenwin.link, it's zoom.ellenwin.link. I changed that some time ago. But I was leaving that ellenwin.link still going over to Zoom. I changed it a couple of days ago, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to send that over to my Facebook page, my entrepreneur page. And Harlequin called me right before we began, and she said, hey, I've got people calling and texting saying they can't get in. This goes to your Facebook page.
I was having a hard time. Yeah, I was like, what is going on? You know,
sorry about that.
So
Just
do I need to email you so I can be back on your list again, or
are you not receiving my emails right now?
I haven't gotten, this is like the second time I hadn't gotten a notification.
Wow. Yeah. Send me an email, send it to workwithellen@gmail.com and just say, make sure I'm on my list in your subject line, and I'll double check to see what's going on, see if you got deleted. But if you've been opening my emails, then you should be actively in there, and they may just be going to your spam folder or something, but I'll check it out for you, Ray. Definitely want to make sure you're in communication.
Yeah, I have two questions. I was on the call Friday when David mentioned about changing the website to where, if someone wants to speak to us, it would be a click of a button and you can communicate with them. Now, I guess that seems a very good idea, but what if someone is working in the mornings and somebody contacts you and you're not able to communicate with them? That's kind of where it kind of gets, okay, so because you don't want to ignore the calls. You're at work, but you don't want to ignore the calls. And then, everybody's break and lunch is different. So, you'd be on a call with somebody, if you're only doing 30-minute lunch, that's really not enough time to really get in the mode, to really get to know the person and things like that. You got to almost kind of rush to get through that call. So, even though he's going to do that, could there still be a way that, you can, I don't know, that's just one of the things that I feel like it's like, okay, now I'm starting back at work again. That may be an issue with me because I may not be able to communicate with the person.
I get it. And you've got a very, very valid point. He said that's going to be going live sometime in, he said as early as this week, and initially it's going to go over to the Bank Breezy team. But as we're moving forward with this new back office software, we're going to have some capabilities with that we don't even come close to having capabilities with today. And that's why the need to move to this new back office software, just to have the communication capabilities that we really need with services, so you can stay up to date on what your clients are doing. But I'll bring this to David's attention and ask him, but I know that the software that they're going to be using has the ability to turn features off and on. So possibly I'll suggest that he makes that an option that you could turn off or on your website on the click to call. Whereas if you didn't want to receive calls, you could turn that off and it wouldn't give a client that option. But that's a really good point. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, because you don't want to, people calling and then you're returning their call, and then that could potentially have somebody not, want to do business with you. So that was one of my issues. And then my other question was, okay, I went into the resource center and the Connect cards. I was trying to, when I clicked on that, it said you had to log in. So do I have to use my original login information, or do I have to create another account?
Good question. So with the new Connect cards, you have to create an account with this vendor. They're a new vendor, right? So to be able to order from them, you have to create an account with them, with your name, your phone number, shipping address, email address, and all that. And then you'll be able to add your billing information. But you want to create an account with them, and then you'll be able to go in and look at the cards. Again, make sure you pre-proof the card, verify that your QR code works and goes to your website. Again, I would recommend that you use a domain name forwarding to that tax page of your website instead of using davidallencapital.com/tax credits/ your ID number. Don't use that, people. If you don't know how to create a domain and how to forward it over, please go to my training at domains, domains.ellenwinn.link. I have a training on buying a domain, inexpensive, less than $10. And that's good for a year, right? How to buy the domain and how to go in and redirect it to whatever page you want it to go to. But if you buy a domain and use a domain on your business card, someone can, if they're looking at the thing with the business card, the drop cards is, if they're looking at your card from a mobile device, that QR code is perfect, right? But if they're sitting at their desk and they're typing in that domain name, is it going to be easier to type in davidallencapital.com/tax credits / your ID number, or dacfundingoptions.com, like I have a domain? Which one's easier for them to get to the correct website?
Right.
So,
And so, I'm sorry. So
no, go
on
ahead.
that, when
Use
you
your domain.
when you set up the account, would there be other products in there besides the Connect cards? that you can-
Potentially, right now, that's what's available, the Connect cards and the business card, Connect card package. But
Okay.
potentially, I don't know. They're going to be adding in a mail out card system, and it'll be through this same printer. So those will be added in as potential products.
Okay. Well, you've answered my questions. Thank you, Ellen.
Awesome. Thanks for the questions, Ray. Thanks for bringing
You're
up the point on click to call. I'll get an answer on that. All
Okay,
right,
thank
Bobby
you.
Knight, have your hand up. What do you have for us tonight, Bobby?
Thank you again, Ellen, you and Harlequin. You guys have a great training and our team appreciates that. Ellen, I wanted to ask the question about what is the average business funding as well as the average ERC that you see that's coming through? If you can give the team some advice on that.
Yeah, so the last numbers that David has stated on what the average funding is, if it's on the Bank Breezy side of the house, the larger fundings, the average is running around $40,000. Okay. And that's all your highs and lows mixed in together. As I said, Harlequin had someone on her team get a $50,500 renewal today, or he got it probably Friday and got paid on it today. So Bank Breezy is 40,000. The average funding on the Biddy Advanced side is 8,000. And of course, we don't even have an average on, well, no, we do. 1,100 is the average on Giggle. And I never promote Giggle. I don't promote Biddy. I end up with applicants that qualify for Giggle and qualify for Biddy, but my target market is really the Bank Breezy client. So those are the numbers, and the way you can find those too, if you want to look and find those in print, if you go over to the Agent Resource Center under the More section at the top, under training material and under team building, you'll see the game plan document, and those numbers, those averages are printed on that game plan document so that you can do the math and work it backwards to see how many communications you need to have to make the income that you're looking for. On the ERC, Jeremy said about 160,000. One of them said 160,000 would be the average on that. Excuse me, I'm going to have to get some water here. Harlequin, can you continue with the Q&A for a second, please?
Sure. Not a
Okay, thank
problem.
you.
Okay, Harlequin, another question, Harlequin. With the domain names, is it okay to use the QR codes? Is that still good to use also with the customized QR codes? Harlequin?
Yeah, using a QR code is always a good idea. But as Ellen was saying, sometimes people are not using their cell phone. They want to go and submit the application on a desktop or a laptop because it's easier to type everything in which case having a domain name makes it a whole lot easier than having the full David Allen Capital website. So QR codes have their place, but they're not 100% what people are looking for. Does that make sense?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was clarified. Thank you so much, Harlequin. You're a great trainer. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like that was Bobby. Let me lower your hand. All right, so Bruce, it looks like you're next. Bruce Campbell.
Yes, hi, Harnigan. This is Bruce. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Always have that cheery face, don't you? Anyway, Ellen was mentioning that she had a couple of flyers that she had printed up that she can drop off at different businesses and so forth. I'd like to know if we can possibly get those flyers where they are, like, if they could be text to me to where I could use that flyer in a text message directly to the owners. Instead of the flyer just being left at the counter, where sometimes it gets just thrown in the trash can by the person that's actually at the register. I've done that where I've dropped cards before, and then I watch them go right over to the trash can and drop it right in the trash can, so it doesn't get to the owner. I have my lead sources now. I'm able to market and target the business owners and know how many business employees they have. I'll be able to actually market them throughout the whole US. And so now I know how I'm going to actually approach them, but I'm actually gathering up marketing tools that I can do in a text message and also in email.
Okay.
As far as sending them just, something that they can grasp an eye at and say, oh yeah, I forgot to call this guy back. Let me call this guy, because that way I can send him, say every 3 days. I can send him another, or 3 or 4 days later, I can send him another one. And so it's a follow-up that I can set up where I can follow up 40 times with this guy. When he connects, I can disconnect the follow-up. So it's
Yeah.
like, can we get this done?
Yeah, well, actually, Bruce, if you go into the Agent Resource Center, that is something that Tyler has been working on. There's a whole slew of different marketing materials that you can use. But also, even if you just use your web address in the text message, it will pull up a preview of the website, which shows the information. But no, there's a lot of different marketing materials out there that Tyler has already created. And he also was just working on doing a video where he walks us through where we can go and add in our personal information on his documents. So
Okay.
Yeah,
that's already there for you.
I'm going to show you, Bruce. So
Okay.
can you guys see the Agent Resource Center on my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So in the Agent Resource Center, you've got business funding, you got line of credit. Every product that we have across the top headers here there are flyers and social media posts for those. Okay. Line of credit drive. Let's go over to business funding, and actually let's go back to we'll go back to home here for a second and click on business capital here. You've got your social media posts, social media videos. Tyler even did a video showing you how to go in and edit the documents that he has made editable through the Canva platform, where he walks you through. I followed his video the other day, and it was really simple to follow. So if you go in and find that, there's also a search feature here on the Agent Resource Center. So you can open up search and you can type in what it is you're looking for and help you find it a little bit easier that way. As far as what Harlequin was saying on the web page, if you go to, let me go back over to davidallencapital.com. Well, it's not one to open for me. Let me go one more here. davidallencapital.com, click on tax credits. Okay, that's your page. I'm going to go ahead and put in my link here just as an example. And when you go to social media, or as Harlequin was saying in your text message, I can show you exactly what will happen here on social media, because the same thing happens when you send a text message. If you text someone your link or you post your link on social media, it's going to create this social image. So it acts as a flyer for you, right? And if I created this post without saying anything at all, it's a clickable image. And that text message would have that clickable image as well. So they see the up to 26,000 per employee, no upfront fees, real CPAs. And when they click on that image, it goes straight over to your website. So that's kind of an already done for you process. You could attach an email, but I think the simplest thing is to just get someone over to the website, because the whole goal with the flyer is to get someone over to your website and get them started on the process. So either way, email or text, if you send your link and get them through there, then you've accomplished the goal of getting them to your website. But I get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You being able to show the other agents where these tools are and how to get to them and how to use them, it's going to help quite a bit. So I do appreciate it so much.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the question. I'm going to take this off of screen share there. Thanks for the question, Bruce. And
Thank you.
Richard, you have another question?
No, I just wanted to throw out a quick tip, because I have a number of team members on here, is suggesting covering your affiliate links with a domain. I would take it a little further and try to get a domain that's as short as possible, so that when you are on the phone and leaving a message or talking to somebody, it's something that you can relay that's very easy to remember for them to go to a website. For instance, one of the ones that I use is erc-refund.info or something along those lines. It's very short to say, and that somebody will remember on a voicemail message.
Yeah, and that's a great tip, Richard. And I'll take it even one step further. If you're getting a domain that is short like that, and your intention is to be leaving messages on the phone, make sure that if it is something that could be numerical or spelled out, that you clarify that, like funding for you, is that for the number 4 or 4 spelled out FOR, right? So when you're picking a domain name, think about that in process of, okay, is it going to be, am I going to have to clarify? I hear radio ads where somebody will tell what their website is, and the word part of their website name could be spelled different ways, or could be a number, and you may have to try it 2 or 3 times before you get to the actual one. So think about that. But yeah, that's a great point, Richard. Thanks for bringing that up and making that suggestion. Anybody else with questions or comments tonight? Harlequin, did I forget to cover something that we talked about earlier?
No, I don't think so. Unless, well, we've now got, Bobby's got his hand up again.
I see that. Okay, Bobby, what you got?
Oh, Ellen, one more quick question. I just want to find out. So the cards are alive right now, the postcards as well as the emailing. Is that alive right now?
The Connect cards are ready to order. Yes.
But not
Okay.
the mailers.
Right. You can't
Not-
order.
not the
Yeah, the
postcards
direct
that mail
mailing is
out.
not ready yet.
And you said you can mix and match, Ellen?
That on the order form, they have a packages option, which would be, if you're getting 1,000, it'd be 500 of the Connect cards and 500 business size cards that are just regular business cards, or you can just order the Connect cards. I already have business cards, so I ordered the Connect cards only. Yep.
Okay,
You
thank
know,
you, Helen.
And that does remind me of something else that I wanted to touch on tonight. And David touched on it on our Zoom today, but I want to take it a little bit further, where he was talking about how he had his daughter a few years ago, had his daughter sending out emails, because he was talking about people that are blanket emailing versus sending out a unique subject line, right? And he tested it with one of his daughters. And instead of having a very small open rate, he had like a 70% open rate by using that unique subject line. So going back to my having a goal of having one a day submit through the ERC process, if you don't want to call business owners that you know, take the local flyers that get direct mailed to your house. If you don't have things getting direct mailed to your house, when you go out shopping, I guarantee you in some of your local restaurants and high traffic areas, you're going to see little weekly sales flyers or weekly magazines that are being put out in the local community. Or go to your Chamber of Commerce. They have all sorts of flyers there that will have business information in it. And then you can go back home if emailing is your thing and have a goal of sending out 10 or 15 or 20 emails a day that have that subject line that is unique to them. I saw your ad in, or I saw your information at the Chamber of Commerce, or I saw one of your trucks on the road, or I saw your truck on Highway 278. I saw your truck in front of Costco. I saw your trailer in the parking lot at Home Depot, or wherever you can connect with having seen that business owner. Anyone that says, well, where do I find business owners to talk to? Just open your eyes and look around. They're right at your fingertips when you open your mailbox. They're right around all of your location. If you go out on the road, you're going to be passing businesses every single day. And those are your target. You drive by billboards in your local community. Those are your target market, right? They're local to you, and you have a relation where you can go back and refer to in your subject line. I saw your billboard in Dallas on 278. Wherever, just tie it back to them, and they'll open that email because you made it personal to them. And you can do that email that's introduction. Hey, I just want to reach out. You don't know me directly, but I wanted to introduce myself. I'm helping businesses in my local community get the employee retention payroll tax, and we also offer business funding. Again, I just wanted to introduce myself if I can ever help you. I don't even include a link in the body of the email, but I have a link to everything on my website in my signature, right? I've got my name, I've got my picture, so that they can relate a person to that. Having your picture in your signature in your emails will really help you create relationships with people that you don't know, because they see that, put that name and face together as they're talking to you via email and then potentially phone calls. I have the DAC independent agent logo, and then I have employee retention credit that goes straight over to I'll show you what my signature is. Many of you have seen it. If you have replied back to any of my emails that I send out, you've seen my signature. But if you have not, then you've not received an email from my personal email or my work email that I use with DAC. So let me open that up.
While you're looking that up, while I was traveling, I discovered another really good source. If you go to any like hotel or motel, they always go and have a big, huge display of brochures of different restaurants and various activities around the community. Those are all businesses that were hard hit by COVID. Those are awesome, potential clients for either funding or for ERC or payment processing or just about anything.
Now say that again. Where did you find that?
If you go into, if you go into a hotel, usually somewhere near the front desk, they have a display where they've got 10, 20, sometimes 50 different brochures.
Yeah, the local attractions. Yeah.
Local attractions, restaurants, different things like that. That's another great place to go if you're short on time and you don't always, say you work Monday through Friday and you don't have time to go during the day, you can swing by one of those any time of day or night and grab a couple of brochures, and you'll have 20, 30, 50 clients to potentially contact.
Awesome. I see some more hands raised, but while I have this on my mind, I'm going to go ahead and open and show you what my signature on my email is. Okay. So I have this template preset in my signature, and I just have regards, my name, my mobile number, my picture, my DAC independent agent logo, and I have 4 different links below that speak for the product that it is, right? I have employee retention payroll tax credit, ERC. I have it spelled out in longer terms so they understand what that is. Low cost credit card payment processing, unsecured revolving line of credit, and unsecured working capital. So if you click any of these links, they go directly to that page of the website. But what have I done? I've created a sales tool here that really speaks of what it is that we're marketing. So that's what I do. It attaches to every email, or I can go in and change it to no signature. Back when I was doing healthcare and working with some groups, I had just a generic DAC independent agent logo because I thought that the DAC and the David Allen Capital didn't quite relate to healthcare with the capital verbiage. So I did one with the independent agent logo there. But that's what I would encourage you to do on signatures. If you don't know how to do that, then go to whichever email provider you use and Google it. You know, if you're using Gmail like I am, how to create a signature in Gmail, and then go follow the video, play with it. You can add images inside that signature so that they automatically populate for you. Okay, let's go back to the questions. I have a hand up with Emmanuel. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much, Ellen.
Absolutely.
Well, my question is, I have a client who has started a process for ERC. Unfortunately, he called me today, so he hasn't received any email from either ERC Pros or any email from Bank Breezy. Is there any person that I can contact to get more clarity on this?
Yeah, you just did. You asked me the question. So what we need to find out is how far in the process did that client go? I did a 3-way call with someone the other day that was the exact same scenario. And when the agent connected me to the client who was applying, we found that the client only answered the questions that got them to the congratulations. It sounds like you qualify for the ERC, right? They had stopped there. And if they don't move on through and click continue to get on over to the ERC page to fill out the ERC order, they're not going to get an email. So you want to make sure that they made it that far. If they did fill that form out and they click submit, I would venture to say one of 2 things happened. They either typed their email, and that's why they didn't get an email in return, or that email came and it's in a spam folder or a junk folder in their email account. I would first find out, did they go through that second page, second sequence in the application and fill out the form? If they did, it won't hurt at all for them to start over on your DAC website. You can just say, I'm not sure what happened here, but let's just get you back to the beginning and get you to start that process over again. While you're in process, make sure you go through and complete that second set. After it says you qualify, go ahead and complete the next page where it says submit order, and that'll take you inside the ERC portal. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you very much.
You bet. And then once they're there in the ERC portal, if they don't receive an email, or they can start a chat session right there without having to wait on an email. They can actually, once they're over there, they can start asking questions there to the CPA team.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for the question. I'm sure that was beneficial for others. Hey, Bruce, I see you've got your hand up again. Let me ask you to unmute. What do you have? There you are.
Ellen, there you are. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm in the longevity back office, and I'm looking at my agents. I see that the dates that each agent signed up for the last 2.5 years. And I've got a few pages here, but I'm okay. Now I can actually identify their agent number, so I can help them there if they don't have it. But I'm like, how can I follow up on each one of these agents on their email address? How do I find their email address so I can send them another email or a phone number that I can call them and reconnect with the agents that signed up 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, their email is in there. So if you open up your advanced genealogy report, it shows you your whole team. Their email is part of that report, or in the top right, excuse me, in the top right corner of that, there is a download email feature where you can click that and it creates one text file that has everybody's email in it. Copy and paste and send an email out to every single one of them. If you do that, make
I'm
sure that you don't make sure you don't put all those emails in the to in your email. You want to make sure that you blind carbon copy them and make the to address you, so that you're not disclosing their email address to everybody in your team.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, very good. All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet. All right, thanks for the question. All right, anybody else? Oh, I see we have Lanessa with a hand up. Hey, Lanessa, how are you tonight?
Doing good. Hi, everyone. Earlier, how are you, Ellen, Harlequin, and the group? Earlier, you were answering a question about ERC, and you said that they needed to come through on the Bank Breezy side in order for them to get credit. Are all of your clients need to be funding clients to get them to the ERC?
No, actually, when you go through the ERC platform, let's go back over here and I'll screen share. Bank Breezy is our partner in the funding and the ERC process. Okay. So when I say the Bank Breezy platform, once you click on determine eligibility on the tax credit page, when you click there, it takes you over to our co-branded page with Bank Breezy. Notice here it says in partnership with Bank Breezy, and it's how much are you eligible for. So that's why I say it's the Bank Breezy platform, because they really are the ones that have contracted with ERC Pros, and they are our funding partner. So when they contracted with ERC Pros, they brought this to David Allen Capital, and right now we're their primary marketing arm for the ERC program. So yes, it is through Bank Breezy, but it doesn't have to be funding.
Can you go back one step?
Go back to where I clicked
The
on the
previous page? Yeah.
that one. Uh-huh.
Okay. And they'll be still coming to my my website.
As long as you have your agent ID number right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I have one more question. I wasn't gonna ask it, but you know how you ask people, who do you know? So my cousin has said she has someone, but she didn't make the connection. She's like brokering, for lack of a better word. And it's hard for me to talk to the person because I've been taught that I need to pre-qualify them so I could ask them questions about their business and if they would qualify, or, set better, the best expectations. Mm-hmm. So I went online, and I know you've updated it now since I've been out there, but I was looking for something that I could text her to text them. And I think you just said a moment ago that I could text my my website with my number in it, and it would populate a logo or image for them. What would you do in that situation? I really want to say, can you just let them call me? Let's set up a time that I could talk to them so that I can kind of like pre-qualify them and set the expectation around what they could do based on what's going on in their business.
Yeah. So, excuse me. Let's do the, screen share and go back to that image. So text message, all I did here was copy and paste that tax credit link from my website. And when I pasted it into social media, it automatically populated this image. I didn't have to add it, right? Same thing with a text message. It'll pre-populate and create that image for you. So yes, you could forward your tax credit link, make sure your agent ID number is at the end. You could forward that to your friend and ask her to forward it to the business owner. But why do you think she's trying to broker this, as you put it, and trying to be in the middle of it? What do you think the reason is on that?
I just think it's a personal friend of hers, and because she said, I was kind of stumped for a while, and I said, I'll look for a brochure or something like that I could send them. But all of what I could find was like, the pizza one where you go from one page to the other on a social media. And I didn't delve any deeper than that, because she said, I don't want them to think that I was being untruthful or misleading about the opportunity to get the funding, which I don't want them to be misleading either, because, I have no idea what the relationship would, come out to be. So I can't answer that. And I didn't press her. I just, was grateful that she wanted to make the connection, but it did puzzle me and stump me. And I'm like, well, how's the best way to present the opportunity if I'm not talking directly to the person? So, I really can't answer that, but I was trying to make it work, and I was just kept getting stunned. I would go and look for something that would, speak to the 5 or 4 things about, how much money you make in revenue, how long you've been in business, do you have a business account or not, and what's your credit score, without being. Those were the questions I would ask, but I don't get to ask those questions, in this situation.
All right, I got you. So I misunderstood where you were going with that initial question about Bank Breezy. I thought we were talking about tax credit. So if it's the funding page, you want to send the business capital page over, and it's self-explanatory, right? They'll answer questions on the website, and based on their answers, they get either forwarded on over to one of our partners, or they get told they don't qualify. So again, you want to just click on business capital, and then up here in the browser, you want to add your ID, type that in, and then highlight and copy that. And let's give another example here. Let's show you what happens when you type that. I'm just going to Control V and paste that into the page. Now you can see there's a new image, and this one is about funding, right? So you're correct. There are some pre-qualifiers in the funding. It sounds to me, David said today, you can't be a prophet in your own town, right? It sounds to me like your relationship with your friend might be too close, that she's being protective because she's not known you as a funding professional. Why don't you ask her, would it be helpful if you got someone, one of your team trainers on the line with her to kind of walk through that process, and maybe walk through getting over to the business owner that's looking for funding? I'm happy to do a call with you. I don't know if you're on Harlequin's team or not, but we're always happy to do 3-way calls with folks in our organization.
Okay. I'll ask.
Let me make another suggestion to you. Lynessa, have you talked to this friend of yours about becoming an agent?
Yes. She's my cousin, actually.
Okay. Is she wanting to become an agent?
She hadn't said no, and she hadn't said yes.
Okay.
And I did, I thought it was a great opportunity for her, because.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. What you might want to do is, if she's uncomfortable with you talking directly to her friend, do a 3-way call with her and have her listen in to you asking the different questions. That way, she'll feel more comfortable, because she'll know exactly what it is that you're saying to the client.
Okay.
That way it'll take away a lot of the fear that she has. But you can, tell her, hey, look, we can set you up as an agent. I'll walk you through, and I'll help you get your first client.
Right.
Right. And
do it that
Vanessa,
way.
if you've not been in the business long enough to where you're comfortable handing those calls, it could be a four-way call. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be just three people on the line, right? So you could be quietly listening in on the line, whoever is appropriate to make the introduction for the expert, whether it's Harlequin or me or whoever's team you're on, and the client, the prospect, someone makes an introduction. Hey, I've got Ellen on the line. I want to introduce you to Bill. Bill's
Mhm.
looking for funding. Ellen, I'm going to let you ask the questions. Ellen's our team lead. You know, you do that,
Sure.
and then you sit back and ask questions. But two of you could be listening in on that conversation. You just want to make sure that if you have more than one person listening in, that you understand who's talking and who's not talking, so you don't
Right.
have 3 or 4 people trying to talk in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I would definitely be sitting back, learn from you guys.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. I
Well, thanks
appreciate
for that,
it.
Harlequin. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I may reach out
Lanessa,
to
how are you officially listed in DAC in the back office?
if you haven't kicked me out, LENESSAHAWKINS.
Okay, so it's spelled the same as how you have your name on here. Some people do it differently. You're not on my team, so I
Reach
just,
out to Ellen.
I was recruited out of Detroit, and Ellen was the first one to reach out to me.
As
okay.
I am with many agents that come into the team. I
Yes.
send an email out
She's
to
quick.
everybody. If I personally enrolled you, I send a text message out. I don't send those text messages anymore unless I personally sponsored you, but I reach out to everyone. And I'm sorry to say that sometimes my communication with new people coming into the team is the only communication that they hear from,
Yeah.
because their enroller doesn't reach out to them. So hint, hint, if you're recruiting people, you need to be reaching out to the people that you enrolled. Even if you're new and you're not trained and you don't know what to do, at least say, hey, welcome to the team. You
Absolutely.
signed up through my link. I encourage you to go through the training. Your welcome letter, I'm sorry, not your welcome letter, but your email that you receive from David Allen Capital. When you have a new agent that signs up, it tells you exactly what to do in that. It tells you the new agent's name, their phone number, their email, and it says, hey, I encourage you to reach out to them, introduce yourself, and tell them to go through videos 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3 in the Agent Resource Center. So it's all step by step. You just got to follow the steps, and not saying that you don't. I'm just saying that for everybody's benefit, right? It's real easy to make that new person feel welcome and give them that guiding hand. And it's okay for you if you are new, not you, Lanessa, not you specifically, just in general. If you are new, welcome them and let them know, hey, I just got started too. I just decided I believe in this company, and I decided to build a team right out of the gate. I'm new too, and I'm going through training, but I wanted to welcome you to the team. Ellen Winn or Harlequin Murray is our senior team leader, and pay attention. I send out the email, so encourage them to pay attention and look out for the emails that I send out. Make sure they're encouraged to join my text group. For those of you that aren't on that text group, it is not a two-way communication. It is me sending out a message to everybody at once. If you ever want to opt out of it, all you got to do is reply stop, and you'll automatically be removed. So I'm not going to oversend text messages, but I'm going to send out what I believe is important, and those are the reminders to get on Zooms. Any updates, if I send an email out that's important, I'll send an email, and then I'll send a Zoom text message saying, hey, check your email, just send out some important information, or I might send out a video through that text. So good platform to be on if you're not already. Okay, anything in the chat there that we need to address before we wrap up, Harlequin?
No, I don't think so.
See a question about percentages on, is it 3% every time he renews? Well, it's 3% unless that person is amped up, and then it's 6%. If they're engaged, it could be more than 3%, depending on what rank they are in the compensation plan. So DAC 1 would be 3% plus an extra 10%. DAC 2 would be 3% plus an extra 15%. DAC 4 would be 3% plus an extra 30%. And actually, if they're up, it's still the same 6 plus 10 plus 15 plus 30%. It's all covered in the compensation plan. But yes, that pay goes according to how you're qualified in the compensation plan. And I see Harlequin, you answered that, but others may not have seen that question. All right, anything else there? We're going to wrap up.
Yep, I think that will do it.
Think that got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for paying attention. Let's go get them. 2023 is going to be massive, but only if you're building a team or only if you're going and getting clients, because no money passes hands here unless you get clients on your own to get qualified to move through the comp plan and then earn some massive overrides. I can't wait to see all of the services that are getting released and the opportunity that each and every one of you on this Zoom have to make a huge financial windfall in the next coming year. Okay, everybody. Thanks for plugging in. We'll see you on the next Zoom. We'll see you Friday, 11:30 Eastern time at daczoom.com. Have a great night.